This is my R34 Skyline I imported from Japan for just $4,000 and it's in pretty rough condition, but not for long. I just finished doing all the maintenance I needed, so in this video, I'll be transforming it into my dream build. Going from this HKS exhaust, which this car really needs, painting and restoring all the trims, and what I'm most excited about, I'll be wrapping the car an entirely new color. We'll get to that, but before we do any of the fun mods, I have to admit something. My car is illegal.
I've been so focused on the engine work that my temp tag is 6 months expired and I still don't have a title. To get it registered, I need to pass a GTA Task Force inspection. Not the game, it's an actual thing in a facility an hour away. So before making the trip, I wanted to quickly swap out a broken hose I noticed while doing the spark plug. Spoiler, it wasn't quick.
Terrible news update.
So as I was taking out the PCV hose, it got caught up in the engine hole and ripped in half, where it then fell
inside the engine. It felt inside the engine.
This was bad because I was on a strict deadline.
Oh, I see it. It's right here.
The GT inspection was tomorrow and the DMV the day after that. If I couldn't take this giant piece of rubber out today, I would have to cancel both. That meant not being able to drive for weeks while I waited to reschedule. So failure wasn't an option.
Attempt number 3, number 4, I don't even know at this point, bro. But we're gonna try again.
This whole ordeal lasted over 2 hours and I honestly had zero hope, but the car gods were on my side and eventually I had my lucky break.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I got it out. I didn't think we'd get this out. But yeah!
So good news, grommet was out. Bad news, my gripper tool absolutely mangled the internal oil filter, dropping metal shards all over the place in the cam covers. Probably not ideal, but honestly, the rest of it looked fine, so I just sent it. I reinstalled the hose with some strange methods and
we are now ready to see if the engine will blow up. 3, 2, 1. Give it some revs.
And after working through the night to get that fixed, I woke up bright and early that morning, made it to Dallas, and sat in this tiny waiting room just to get this piece of paper confirming my Skyline wasn't stolen. From there, I sped to a mechanic for a safety inspection and finally hit the DMV where I was slapped with $500 in late fees. But hey, the R34 was finally street legal. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves because the car is still chopped. Look at the trim. Ew. Just crusty, shameful. Oh no, that's bad. So before we can transform how the car looks and sounds, let's finish fixing these trims and headlights. Starting with the B-pillars. 20 years of the Japanese sun have turned them into absolute eyesores. First had to get the rain guards out of the way. I started battling diabolically rusted screws, at which point I started to strip one after the other, which was quite stressful.
Come on.
I also tried PB Blaster to loosen them up, and although it didn't help very much, it at least helped me take out 2 more successfully. From there, I painstakingly started drilling out each screw carefully, and after about an hour or 2, I was on the last one when...
Oh, hell no! Oh, that is disgusting. Oh! I'm done for the night.
Lastly, to take them off, I used fishing line. I'm not gonna bore you guys with this, but I pretty much did the same thing for all 4 doors and then scraped off all the leftover adhesive.
And now that we got the window visors off of the car,
I sanded the B-pillars completely smooth so the old bumpy carbon fiber wouldn't ruin our new wrap.
okay, we got the wrap here. So it's supposed to be for like architecture, but I saw that people on threads were using this to wrap their B-pillars. So if it worked for them, it should work for me, right?
So to start, I first lined up and then cut the wrap to size. And after sticking it on, I started to trim all around, which was very hard to do because this was my first time wrapping anything. And honestly, it kind of showed. Nah, it really showed. But I kept moving forward and I tried touching it up, and finally I tucked all the corners into the seals and inwards into the car.
Okay, well the B-pillars are wrapped. So here's how the B-pillars looked before, and this is how they look now.
And although there's some small imperfections, it's still a big improvement than before. Next, to replace this lower window trim, we have to start from the inside and completely take off the door panel. This process starts by taking off all 3 pop clips and the 2 screws holding it in. And then you just yank on it a few times.
Oh, what is falling out? All of this just fell out as I did that.
And lastly, once I got it off, I then just had to undo all the electrical clips, which like usual didn't go to plan when I got stuck on one of them for an hour because there was 0 finger space to work in. But persistence was key and I got it off.
Yes!
Only to realize that my efforts were useless because the Skyline has this aftermarket speaker install that does not have a disconnect point anywhere. Alright, anyway, next I broke the mirror trim piece.
Oh, man.
And proceeded to taking off the mirror. And yes, this is all just to change that lower window trim. But finally, I had everything ready and started pulling it off, and next, I cleaned off all the gunk that was built up under the trim and installed the new piece. But now it was
Time to do all of that 3 more times.
let's speedrun it. I put the mirror back on, tightened and clipped it back in. At this point, I also realized that the weird foam falling out earlier was actually the rubbery part of the speaker that was deteriorated, so I'll probably need to replace that soon, but moving on. I double side taped the broken trim back on, reclipped all the switches, reassembled the door, and prayed that the window still rolled down. I did the exact same process for all 3 other doors. I'll be highlighting all the restored parts in the end of the video, but for now, you can see just how much of a difference these trims made. Next, it was time to paint, starting with the UV damaged rain guard. I cleaned off all the adhesive from the back and scuffed them down using a sanding pad to get them prepped for paint. Next, I ripped off each of the windshield wiper arms from the car and sanded them down to get the rust and old paint off as well. Finally, the windshield cowl was also very sun damaged, so I took that off and vacuumed under it because it had tons of nasty gunk that had been built up over the car's 20 years of life, which was pretty satisfying. I started with the plastic parts, laying down 3 coats of adhesion primer and then 3 to 4 coats of paint. Once the plastic parts were done, I got my metal parts out and primered those with a few coats and then laid out a few more coats of black paint. Side note, while doing this, I was getting completely swarmed with my #1 enemy, June bugs. Just look at this screen. And now for the final task before we can transform how the car looks. We gotta restore these headlights. 2 months ago, I tried doing exactly that, and after cleaning, sanding, buffing, and finishing the job, this was the result.
So I will be trying again with the Cerato kit. Everybody was glazing it and see if it can make it at least a little bit better.
I first started by masking out the headlights to avoid damaging the paint and began using these UV damage removing wipes. Next, I wet sanded the headlights down with some 2000 grit sandpaper, trying to do it in a horizontal motion as the instructions suggested, and after that was done, the headlights looked like this. Now it was time to do the final sanding step, which was 3000 grit. Finally, after removing the tape and only taking off a bit of paint, unlike last time, I waited an hour for it to fully dry after air blowing it, and I could put on the secret sauce that is supposed to restore them, and just look how satisfying that looks. The thing is, when you put something wet on sanded headlights, they'll pretty much always look good until it dries. So the real test is to see how this will look once it's fully cured. So let's time jump an hour.
And here is the final result. There's still some imperfections, like all the spider webbing is still there because that's inside the lens, not to mention our friends inside over here and spiders.
They look worlds better than before, and it'll definitely help tie together the final transformation. With my headlights and all the parts ready and painted, let's start by reinstalling my window cowl. Next, I busted out the freshly restored wiper arms, which were looking great, but to match them, I got some new wipers as well because the old ones were cooked beyond belief. After tightening both of them down and buttoning them up, I closed the hood and started to inspect them, which, wow, already looking way better than before, until I realized I put the wiper arms the wrong way around. And as you can see, I was very happy about it. So I swapped them around and we were good to move on. Now I was in the middle of cleaning all the seals to use this rubber restorer as the last part of the trim restoration so we can finally install that new exhaust. When of course, another issue came up.
That's the problem.
In order to troubleshoot and fix this, I unplugged the battery, airbag, and horn connectors on the wheel, and then I took off the airbag to inspect the horn contact plates.
Like that, we got the airbag out. Why is it rainbow? Now the question, what is making this thing go off? Yep, there's the combobulator here, and the thingamabobber. Yeah, that might be worn.
As you can see, I have no clue what I'm looking at, but after Googling around, I realized the copper part is the contact point. And I saw that the black plastic grommet that holds together the contacts from touching had become brittle and cracked into pieces. In order to fix this, I cleaned off the contacts, and me and Blaine made a DIY insulating grommet out of electrical tape. And then we threw it back into the car to see if it would maybe fix the issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the horn now. And after this, it's not gonna do anything until we actually plug in the battery. So let's go. Okay, no loud sound yet. Let's go ahead and try to honk the horn. Hey, wait. And it's not honking by itself. Easy temp fix. Now for a quick break so I can tell you about the video sponsor, Foxwell. Honestly, moments like earlier give me massive anxiety about engine failure. It's actually a pretty common thing for cars like my BRZ, but with an amazing OBD2 scanner, you can make all those problems just disappear. The Foxwell NT726 gives you an all-system diagnosis and a full OBD2 function check. You get IM readiness, DTCs, and live data graphs to closely monitor your car's health in real time. TLDR, it keeps your car running smoothly and keeps it from doing this.
Let's say you're troubleshooting something specific like checking if your radiator fans are broken because they're just not kicking on. Well, instead of guessing, you can use this bidirectional scan feature which has 99% active test support.
That means you can actually test hardware like the radiator fan to turn on and off straight from the tablet. How easy is that? It literally saves you hours of digging into the engine bay, and I could have definitely used that earlier. And once you've done a full health check on the car,
you can always use any of their 12 hot maintenance functions to do your own service resets without paying crazy dealer prices.
Huge shout out to Foxwell for sponsoring the video. If you use the link in the description, you can get up to 20% off and save almost $100. So definitely check that link to grab one for yourself. And now let's start.
Now for the fun upgrades. We're starting with this absolute disaster of an exhaust. Not only does it look horrendous, but it literally spits water and sounds like the beautiful RB power is being choked out. I grabbed my shiny new HKS muffler and sped over to a fab shop to finally let this engine breathe. The plan was simple, a 2¼ inch straight pipe catback, that's pretty big, but actually removing the 25-year-old OEM exhaust was a battle. Thank God I did not try to do this on jack stands in my garage because the mechanic had to cycle from the saw to the angle grinder, back to the saw, and do one last grinder round just to cut the final resonator off. Once the old exhaust was off the car, they mocked up the new piping, positioned that new HKS muffler, which was already looking amazing. They then got the whole system bent correctly, fabbed on the new hangers, and welded it all in. And shout out to the legendary Ling Long tires me and Blaine spotted in the shop. I didn't know they were real. With the exhaust finished, they dropped the Skyline off the lift and I went in to pay. Pro tip for anyone building a car on a budget, having a shop fabricate a custom catback and buying the muffler cost me $330 all in. Compared to buying a pre-made off-the-shelf unit, I saved almost $500. But saving money doesn't matter if it sounds like trash, so let's see if it was worth it. Starting with the cold starts. Okay, now let's hear some revs. Yeah, no more revving in the garage. The neighbors are definitely calling the cops. But now it's time for the first drive on the road.
Oh my God, this thing is loud, bro.
Yo, the drone is actually crazy though. RV power, you can hear it.
Sounds like your VQ, doesn't it?
That's what I said, bro. I knew it was gonna kind of sound like it, bro.
Guys, you gotta let me know in the comments if this sounds better than the 370Z.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, we also had to give it a tunnel pull. So not only does this sound incredible, but it looks a million times better than the rusted pipe we started with. And the cherry on top is that my new official metal plate arrived in the mail today. I ripped off the 6-month expired template and slapped the real one on. And the Skyline is finally 100% legal, which means it's time for the wrap. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, this paint. I honestly have no clue how the previous owners managed to cook it this bad. There are huge scratches everywhere, paint chipping to reveal rust, and unexplainable scuffs across random panels, and the terrible paint drips. It's a disaster. And that's exactly why I went straight to Alibaba and bought 80 feet of this Millennium Jade style wrap for just $400. It has these crazy color shifting properties that you'll see once we get it in the sun. But before we throw it on, I have to prep. I gave the car a thorough wash and started working working on debadging the trunk, fenders, and hood. I used a good old fishing line trick which made quick work of the lettering and all the other badges. But the main Nissan badge put up a massive fight.
Oh, there it goes.
I broke out the rubber wheel to erase the leftover adhesive and sprayed it down with Goo Gone and alcohol. And it looked like this. Even after scrubbing it flawlessly clean, there was still a visible ghost outline. Turns out some terrible respray was done around the badges years ago, leaving a permanent lip. Oh, and I scrubbed the hood so hard I actually took some paint off, which ended up becoming a terrifyingly common trend very soon. With the prep finally done, it was time for day one of the wrap. I wiped the first panel down with 70% isopropyl alcohol, accidentally cut the vinyl way too big, and attempted to glass it out, which is when you stretch it smooth with no creases. Wrapping is way harder than it looks on YouTube. I quickly ruined a section by stretching the vinyl right after heating it, but the biggest nightmare was the car itself. The OEM paint was literally peeling from the car and sticking to the wrap. But despite the struggle, I got the first panel done. Day two were the rear quarter panels. I took my hard-learned lessons from yesterday and completely changed my strategy. Instead of peeling the whole backing off at once, I left it on and slowly worked through the panel, squeegeeing one section at a time. I got the measurements a little wrong in this area, but overall it went incredibly smooth compared to yesterday. Day three, the doors. By far the easiest panels yet. I applied my new rule of segmenting the vinyl before moving on, which worked perfectly. The only real fight they put up was the door handles, because once again, the old paint was severely flaking off here. But I pushed through, although it's a little bumpy, and the wrap is already completely transforming how this car looks. On day four, Blaine pulled up to help me tackle the final boss, the bumpers. Things started out pretty smooth on the side skirts, but the rear bumper quickly devolved into an absolute disaster. Getting the tension right on these sharp corners was a nightmare because it was the first time I've done that and you can clearly see it. And the paint peeling reached a whole new level. That's all peeling paint, yeah. We also confirmed the tragic truth. Right before getting sold at the Japanese auction, this Skyline was hit with a terrible, cheap rattle can respray to hide its flaws. Case in point, the roof. Just look at that. But at this point, you get the idea. Learning to wrap a car from scratch was a gauntlet. So I'm gonna spare you the next 5 days of heat guns, razor blades, and paint peeling shots. So let's fast forward to the finish line. After 1,000 miles of driving it from the port, a massive engine refresh, surviving the DMV, restoring every piece of crusty trim, installing that custom HKS exhaust, and wrapping the entire car myself, here is my $4,000 R34 Skyline in 3, 2, 1. Just look at this thing. The color shift on this wrap in the sunlight is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that just a $300 roll of wrap from Alibaba completely transformed this car from a chopped, faded, rattle can project into an actual dream build. Between the restored black trims, the crystal clear headlights, that fresh windshield cowl, and that shiny screaming HKS exhaust, it literally feels like an entirely different car.
But we are far from done. Now that the car looks and sounds the part, it's time to make it handle the part. We're tearing into the suspension, getting some proper wheels, and possibly changing the transmission to what it should have been from the start. Your time is limited, Automatic. So if you want to see this $4,000 Skyline hit its final form, make sure to hit that subscribe. Huge W's for the members of the channel for supporting the build. This wouldn't be possible without y'all. Join using that blue button down below. And thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned.